Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you want to play a strong 2000 cost mobile suit? Do you want it to have a sniper so you can get your sick MLG snipes? Do you want a solid kit loaded with a hefty main gun and a strange but satisfying to land Jirobi? Well, all those things are packed up in one mobile suit, and that's the Dynamis. But on the other hand, if you want to play a much weaker sniper suit that's overshadowed by the Dynamis, that has some very questionable flaws and more cons than pros, then pick up the Arcane full dress, because that's what today's video is about. So before we get into things, let me just say this. I very much like this suit. It's really cool. I like the Arcane, I like G-Reco, I liked how it appeared in the series. I'm a big sucker for giant sniper rifles, and on the opposite end, I'm a big sucker for shotguns. But no, honestly, I think this has a nice design to it. I like the colors. The shape is really weird but nice. It's just very blocky, and it's very it's on the other end compared to the G-Self, because the G-Self's very round and curvy, while this one's just like a bunch of rectangles. And I think it looks nice, comparison-wise, and it sticks out. That being said, we'll probably never get a master grade of this thing, but let's not go into that tangent. G-Self master grade, never. But in this video, I'm not just gonna rag on the Arcane. I do want to talk about something, and that's the order of the installments. And what I mean from this is, before I go into the main conversation, you guys gotta know that MBON came out before Gundam Versus. The order is MBON, Gundam Versus, then Extreme Versus 2. And why am I bringing this up? Well, that's because the Arcane is a suit I very much like playing. I played this suit a lot. It's probably one of my most well played, it's just a suit that I've always played from beginning to end. I very much like how this suit plays. One of my favorite suits in Gundam Versus. On MBON, on the other hand, I really touched this thing, and you can see that. And you might be asking why. Well, in Gundam Versus, it being after MBON, they got the Arcane, changed it, and fixed up the issues that it had in MBON. Then in Gundam Versus, they got that one, changed it up just a little bit by adding one thing to it, and that's the current Extreme Versus 2 suit we have. In Extreme Versus 2, it's a very competent sniper suit. In MBON, it has problems. And that's what today's discussion is about. And before I go into that, I do want to tell you guys, what suit did you like playing in Gundam Versus, but realize that it just doesn't have the same oomph or the same play style in Gundam? I messed up that sentence. What suit did you like playing in Gundam Versus, but when you played it in MBON, it just didn't have that Examples would be the RX-78, the O, and the Queebly are cost higher compared to the MBON counterparts. And there's just a bunch of other suits that got changed or reworked going into Gundam Versus, or they didn't fit the striker and boost dive system. Please tell me. And if you're one of those guys that says, oh, I loved playing the H1 in Gundam Versus, you don't need to tell us. Oh god, that suit was annoying. But let me go into this. So the biggest problem she has is her ammo. Her ammo is very low. She has a really bad ammo problem. And just to show you, she has 4 shots to her main gun, which is not a lot. And to make matters worse, she shares ammo with her main gun with her snipe attack. So if you're doing a simple combo like main shot into snipe, that's gonna be half your clip, which is really dangerous. And you might be thinking, oh, she has other things to use. Well, her next move down is her AB. You have 1 ammo, and it has a long reload. And going down, you have your G Lucifer assist. You have 1 ammo with a pretty long reload. So yeah, there's that. Her ammo game is not that great, so you have to be very conservative making each shot. And to make things just a little weird, she has this very weird thing where if you want to shoot your snipe, you have to be in your BC. her BC either does a flip upwards, which puts you into a flight stance, or you can do 4 or 6 AB, which moves you left or right. From there, if you're in that mode, you just have to shoot your main gun and it'll be a snipe instead. By design, that is a very long startup snipe, because you have to go into one of those modes, and it can make it really weird and very hard to punish things if you're not used to it. That being said, she can punish things with an AB, which is really cool to do, and I love doing it. But it's just a lot of problems to the suit that I just don't like. Cause like if you saw with the Gion, that Gion was suspended into the air. If I had an immediate snipe, I could just snipe the Gion when it was flame stunned. But because I had to BC first, then snipe, the Gion was able to recover and it missed. Yeah, I could have shot my main gun, but it was at a far distance where your main gun does travel slowly, so I didn't think it would make it. And that's what I'm talking about. For a suit that's not an amazing sniper, she has some stiff requirements to play. And to make matters worse, her self-defense options aren't the best. You're gonna want to stick near your teammate just so they can cover your back and you can cover their back. But there is light to the end of the tunnel. This tunnel being a extremely long tunnel that the light might just be like the wall painted white. But you know, we have hope. I have hope. In the future installments, like Extreme vs 2 and Gundam vs, they change her up. What do they change? Well, in Gundam vs, it's quite simple. They removed the G Lucifer, and they gave her a snipe. Her AB snipe is non-existent. It doesn't share ammo with her main gun, and it's her own move, and it's AC. You have 2 snipes. The reload is slow, however, it has its own ammo, and you don't need to be in BC to shoot it. So that's leagues better. That fixes one problem she has. Yeah, she still has an ammo problem, but it's a lot better compared to MBON. And not only that, when we go into Extreme vs 2, they again give us something. They give us CSB, and just very quickly, you call in the G-Self and it runs at the enemy while shooting. Being a CSB means you have infinite ammo. Being the B and not an A means you can shoot your main gun and you have access to your AC while charging it. And that by itself is awesome. I just like that they actually changed suits and that they did something nice. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, a thing that I really like how it gets better over time, is the Hainu. And this is a very similar thing. Now, the Hainu is not a bad mobile suit in this game or Gundam vs or Extreme vs 2. It's just that in Gundam vs and MBON, this is just my opinion. I apologize for the Hainu players, but I very much hate how the Hainu plays. It's not because it's bad. It's not because the kit doesn't fit well. It's because I don't think the kit does the Hainu Gundam justice. Like, if you know the Hainu source material, or you just look at the Hainu, or just look at its weapons, like what it actually has on it, and you play it in MBON, you're looking at this thing like, wait, what? It feels like they quickly made the Hainu when using the new Gundam. It feels like a clone suit of the new Gundam. And not like a clone suit, like a suit that's similar. Like a clone suit like in MBON, where there's the Wing Zero, then there's the Wing Zero Quatre, which is a literal clone suit. That's what it feels like in Gundam vs and in MBON. However, there's light at the end of the tunnel. In Extreme vs 2, they actually got the Hainu and reworked it. And while the Hainu is now really good, it's actually a very strong 3000 cost, it plays like how you would think the Hainu would play. And it just feels like funnels.jpg. Like, funnels the suit is how it plays in MBON. But in Extreme vs 2, it's much better, and I highly recommend looking at some gameplay of it. which I'll link down in the description of just some random JP player. But onto the G Arcana, that's what I had to say about it. And like I said in the beginning, what do you guys like? What suit did you guys like in Gundam Versus more did you like in MBON? Because there's plenty. There's plenty of suits that are significantly better in a different installment. Like, to name another one, I like Korin's Kapul and the regular Kapul, just because I liked how there are different mobile suits in Gundam Versus compared to MBON. And same thing with the, Jared's mobile suits, the Marsala and that brown bug thing, the other one he pilots. In this game, they're two mobile suits. In Gundam Versus, they're their own separate mobile suit. I don't think the second one's in Gundam Versus, but in Extreme Versus 2, they actually made them their own separate mobile suit, which is awesome. Now, for things I don't like, there's the whole striker mechanic, which we won't get into, and the boost dive mechanic, which we won't get into because it will be way too long. I don't like the RX-78, just because I don't like how it's a cost higher, and they got a really interesting assist, the BC assist, took it out and just gave it a hyper hammer, which is like, okay. Wasn't a big fan of the O and the Queebly being 3,000 costs compared to 2,500 costs. But this is all for a different video. I'll get way too long and I have to go back and look at them. But anyways, this was just some simple G Arcana. I like the suit, I don't like it in MBON, so you probably won't see it in videos or in stream unless you guys want to see it. But anyways, like usual, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for next time, remember to click the bell, subscribe, all that good stuff. Slothcake's here, and hope to see you guys next time.